Can you kind of explain the growth that you've experienced over the past 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's really been something special. I came on 5 years ago, and I mean, it's right in the middle of COVID. Everybody just, everything was uncertain, and at the time we were, hoping to do $2, $3 million a year, and we really have, like you said, it's grown exponentially.
How would you describe the impact of having a team that relentlessly follows up on implementing a proven plan? How would you describe the impact of that on the business, petroleumroofing.com?
I think especially for those who, if you're either just starting out or you've been at it for a while and you're just not gaining the traction you'd like to see, I think it really is a no-brainer. Especially when you look at the costs of some of these other SEO companies, or to have a website built, or to work with a designer to have print pieces developed. You guys do all of that stuff in one place. You've made videos for us. There's a number of things that you guys have done for us that, had I tried to set out to do it myself, would have taken a lot longer, and then would have taken me away from the things that I need to be doing. And that's ultimately, I think, where a lot of business owners are finding themselves. They're not out selling because they're too worried about getting this flyer right, or they're too worried about trying to generate articles for their website. And the other side of it, I think, is, like I mentioned earlier, you don't know what you don't know. And you guys have a long track record of working with businesses and helping them grow. You know a lot of stuff about what works and what doesn't work. You also are kind of tuned in with the changes that Google's always making to the algorithm and stuff like that. And so you can be in their corner and kind of take that off of their plate. They can focus on what they do best, and you guys can really kind of come alongside them and bolster the efforts that they have in building that strong business. So I really think it's just something that a lot of folks should consider, because, when you're looking to, a lot of these guys, they're not looking at cost per lead. They're not thinking about, how many articles should I have on my website? And maybe they don't even know that they should be thinking about that. And so having somebody that knows a little bit more than you is always a good thing. Well, I mean, really, it's just right there in the name. We just do roofing. There's a lot of companies that say they do roofing and restoration, or, and we've decided that roofing is our bread and butter. It's what we're excellent at. And so, when it comes to hail season and stuff like that, and people have hail claims, we want to walk them through the process and make sure that they're taken care of, and that they know they've got a roof they can trust, as well as a roofer that's going to be in their corner down the road. We have done and are working on expanding the commercial side of our business. So we really do it all. Our founder has a lot of experience with all the different roof systems. And then we have a great team of people who have come along over the years that are very knowledgeable and can handle all the roofing from, steep, flat, and everything in between, is what I like to say.
Shay, today's guest, is a very normal, hardworking, diligent business person. This is a guy who's diligently implementing the systems that we're teaching. And I really wanted to interview him on today's show because Carter, the coach and consultant that works with petroleumroofing.com, Carter keeps saying, Clay, these guys are super normal. They're not weird. They're super relatable. Since we've been working with you, the cost now to generate a lead on the internet is down to $12 a lead. We're down to $12 a lead for every lead generated off the internet. I talked to a lot of roofers, a lot of doctors, a lot of dentists. They're telling me they're paying $400 a lead. They're telling me they're paying $150 a lead. They're saying they're paying $300 a lead. These are people that are doing radio, people that are doing billboard ads. Can you talk about the impact that's made on your company, having your internet leads now coming in for $12 per lead?
Yeah, it's one of those funny things, at first it does start off a little higher, but the more that you're doing it and the more time you're putting into building quality content, on your website that's can back that, and drive people to your website and drive people, help the search results, it really does start to pay off in the long run. A fresh website that also doesn't look like every other website out there, a logo that sets us apart from other roofing and restoration and construction companies, and just all the stuff that we've been doing, with the website, stuff that we didn't even know to think of. It's kind of hard to know. I mean, there's stuff that you should do, but then there's stuff that you don't even know that you should do. And so kind of shedding light on some of that stuff and being able to, point our resources in the right direction has really, really helped. A phone call really never hurt anybody. Like you're saying, it never hurt to talk to somebody and have them take a look and offer suggestions. I think people ultimately they're going to be surprised by what they hear, how easy and practical it is to implement a lot of this stuff. Some of them might be a little concerned how much time and effort they're going to have to put into it, but ultimately you get out of it what you put into it. And so, but for those who are just tired of being so busy but not actually getting anything done because they're focusing on the wrong things, I really think they should give you guys a shot.
Folks, what I find all the time is wonderful people listen to this show and they say, I don't know if I could do it. I know that you guys teach entrepreneurs how to succeed, but I don't know if I can do it. I know I grew up without financial resources. I know what it's like to not have money, and I know what it's like to feel like that maybe you don't have what it takes to become successful. And so on today's show, this is not a backhanded compliment of today's guest, but Shay, today's guest, is a very normal, hardworking, diligent business person. This is a guy who's diligently implementing the systems that we're teaching, and I really wanted to interview him on today's show because Carter, the coach and consultant that works with PetraliRoofing.com, Carter keeps saying, Clay, these guys are super normal. They're not weird. They're super relatable. You got to have them on the show. They can encourage people about the growth that somebody can have. And with that being said, Shay, welcome to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Now, Shay, I'm going to pull up your website so people out there can know that you're a real company with real products, real services. It's PetraliRoofing.com. That's the website, PetraliRoofing.com. And as I'm pulling up that website, I'll put a link on the show notes. Can you kind of explain to the listeners out there, what are the services that you guys provide there at PetraliRoofing.com?
Well, I mean, really, it's just right there in the name. We just do roofing. There's a lot of companies that say they do roofing and restoration and we've decided that roofing is our bread and butter. It's what we're excellent at. And so, when it comes to hail season and stuff like that, and people have hail claims, we want to walk them through the process and make sure that they're taken care of and that they know they've got a roof they can trust as well as a roofer that's going to be in their corner down the road.
Now, as far as Petralia Roofing, do you do commercial roofing and residential, or tell us about all the kinds of commercial or all the kinds of roofing services that you guys provide?
Yeah, so we have primarily done residential over the years just because that's a pretty natural direction to go, but we have done and are working on expanding the commercial side of our business. So we really do it all. Our founder has a lot of experience with all the different roof systems. And then we have a great team of people who have come along over the years that are very knowledgeable and can handle all the roofing from, steep, flat, and everything in between is what I like to say.
Now, we're working with somebody to help them grow their business. I have a list of kind of the steps we take people through. Now, there's a lot of detail that goes into this list, but I want to walk the listeners through the step-by-step process that we've worked with your organization as well as every company that we coach and consult with. So step number one, we got to establish our revenue goals. Now, I'm not going to ask you on today's show, how much sales you're doing, but my understanding is that you guys, over the past 3 years, we've had the opportunity to serve you guys. You guys have grown 4 times. Could you describe the growth of your company or for anybody else? Because again, it's very unusual for a company to grow at all in a challenging economy, let alone to grow 4 times. Could you kind of explain the growth that you've experienced over the past 3 years?
Yeah, it's really been something special. I came on 5 years ago. And I mean, it's right in the middle of COVID. Everybody just, everything was uncertain. And, at the time we were, hoping to do $2-3 million a year. And we really have, like you said, it's grown exponentially. And I think a lot of it has been, making sure we're focused on the right things. We've really turned our focuses or a large part of our focus onto, our community involvement and stuff like that. We find that, generous companies tend to be ones that you can trust and are the prosperous ones. And so, even in times that seemed leaner, we really, really try to pour into the community and make a difference. And but yeah, our growth has been awesome. We have a great team of guys, and they have a great network that they work within as well. And then just all the stuff that we've been doing, with the website, stuff that we didn't even know to think of. It's kind of hard to know. I mean, there's stuff that you should do, but then there's stuff that you don't even know that you should do. And so kind of shedding light on some of that stuff and being able to, point our resources in the right direction has really, really helped.
Now, step one, with every client we work with, your business as well, petroliaroofing.com, we want to track your revenue numbers. We want to track those numbers. I just want to get your thoughts on this. Why is it important, as a man who runs a company, specifically petroliaroofing.com, why is it important that you track your numbers every week? Why is that important that you establish your goals and you actually track your numbers?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us, it sheds light on not only just the money in and the money out, which we're tracking, but you're seeing how much is this going to marketing, how much is going, all those different pieces. And I think, once you're tracking it and it's in front of you on a weekly basis, you can really start to find trends and potentially get ahead of problems. Luckily, we haven't found ourselves in any situations like that, but and especially in the kind of business that we're working in, the sales cycle for one of our jobs could be anywhere from 3 weeks to 6, 8, even beyond. We're dealing with insurance companies, and there's a lot of back and forth. And so if we're not watching the dollars that are coming in and out and making sure that we're on track of all that stuff, we could really find ourselves in a tough spot.
So, folks, again, step number one, you want to establish your revenue goals. Now, step number two, you want to determine your break-even numbers. How much stuff do you have to sell just to break even? Now, step number three, how many hours per week is your team willing to work? You have to build a master schedule. These are the kinds of things we'll help you through. Step number four, you have to define your unique value proposition. So I'll pull up your website again. There are so many roofing companies out there. I've heard people say, oh, Clay, I'm in a saturated industry. I'm a doctor. I'm a dentist. I'm a roofer. I'm in a saturated industry. I've heard people say, I can't grow because my roofing company is in a saturated market. I cannot grow my home building company because it is in a saturated market. I want to get your thoughts on this. The branding. I know we work with you on a weekly basis to optimize and update the website. How important has these website updates or the brand updates been to the growth of petroliaroofing.com?
They're a huge factor. I think, and that's one of the things that we've talked about too, is, you've got to put money into branding. You've also got to put it into lead generation. And that's all part of marketing. And, if you're out there trying to generate leads, but nobody knows who you are, you don't have a strong brand, then it kind of can fall short at times. And so having those two working in concert with each other is really, it's key to have that. And having a fresh website that also doesn't look like every other website out there, a logo that sets us apart from other roofing and restoration and construction companies, especially where we are. A lot of people are using, a house or mountains or a combination of that. And so we tried to, get around that and have something that's bold and recognizable and something that will last for a long time.
Step number five here. Step number five, you want to improve your branding, which we talked about briefly there. You got to enhance your logo, your website, your print pieces. Everything that the customer sees, we have to make sure it's first class, and that's what we do with all the clients. Now, step number 6, I like this part. I don't know that a lot of clients like this, but I like this part. It's the three-legged marketing stool. It's implementing the proven process that I also affectionately refer to as CRAP, the core repeatable actionable processes, where just like tomorrow morning the sun's going to come up and just like tonight the sun's going to go down, we've got to do these core repeatable actionable processes week after week. And a big part of our coaching program is we try to simplify all these things that you could do into action items that you can do, that you will do, that will produce fruit. Can you talk about having the value of having a simple marketing plan that is repetitive and doable as opposed to chasing a bunch of things that might work?
Yeah, and if you spend enough time on the internet, I think you're going to get locked into some kind of maybe doom scrolling about, hey, generate more leads this way. There's a lot of people that say they have gimmicks and tricks about it, but it really is, focusing on those key things and putting a lot of time into those. Yeah, I think, it sounds cliche, but I think if you can keep it as simple as possible and really focus on those core things, then the rest of that stuff takes care of itself. And sure, I mean, there are ways you can set yourself apart and get a little creative, but if you're not focusing on those core things, then that strategy ultimately is not going to have the foundation it needs to succeed.
Now, I've got some stats in front of me, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Since we've been working with you, the cost now to generate a lead on the internet is down to $12 a lead. We're down to $12 a lead for every lead generated off the internet. I talk to a lot of roofers, a lot of doctors, a lot of dentists. They're telling me they're paying $400 a lead. They're telling me they're paying $150 a lead. They're saying they're paying $300 a lead. These are people that are doing radio, people that are doing billboard ads. Can you talk about the impact that's made on your company having your internet leads now coming in for $12 per lead?
Yeah, it's one of those funny things. You at first it does start off a little higher, but the more that you're doing it and the more time you're putting into building quality content, on your website that's can back that, and drive people to your website and drive people, help the search results. It really does start to pay off in the long run. We do still do a little bit of radio. We do still do some Facebook and stuff like that, but ultimately there are some, I guess, previous avenues that we were taking where we were to take those dollars and almost multiply them because you put them into the Google side of things and you're getting more leads for less. And then what is happening? Oh, apologies for the banging in the background. We've got some, we just moved into the new office, which is another benefit of all of this stuff is we were able to buy some land, but little construction going on, getting the space ready. But yeah, it's amazing how little that you can, once you spend some time doing it and really focusing on the Google and the internet side of things, how much business that brings in. And, and I would say right now we're probably sitting at almost, 30 to 40%, where when we talk to somebody, ultimately it was seeing us on Google, seeing our reviews and all of that stuff is what was kind of the ultimate tipping point to generate that call.
Now, I know you're a super busy guy, so I have three final questions for you in the final 5 minutes here. So for anybody out there that wants to verify you're not a hologram and that your company's real, share with us one more time. What's your first and last name and what's the name of your company for anybody out there who wants to look you guys up to verify you're real?
Yeah. My name is Shay Cease, and I'm with Petrali Roofing in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Now, what do you say to anybody out there that is on the fence? I mean, you've obviously worked with our team here for the past 3 years, and you hop on those coaching calls or those consulting calls each week with Carter and the team. How would you describe the impact of having a team that relentlessly follows up on implementing a proven plan? How would you describe the impact of that on the business, petroleumroofing.com?
I think especially for those who, if you're either just starting out or you've been at it for a while and you're just not gaining the traction you'd like to see, I think it really is a no-brainer. Especially when you look at the costs of some of these other SEO companies, or to have a website built, or to work with a designer to have print pieces developed. You guys do all of that stuff in one place. You've made videos for us. There's a number of things that you guys have done for us that, had I tried to set out to do it myself, would have taken a lot longer and then would have taken me away from the things that I need to be doing. And that's ultimately, I think, where a lot of business owners are finding themselves. They're not out selling because they're too worried about getting this flyer right, or they're too worried about trying to generate articles for their website. And the other side of it, I think, is, like I mentioned earlier, you don't know what you don't know. And you guys have a long track record of working with businesses and helping them grow. A lot of stuff about what works and what doesn't work. You also are kind of tuned in with the changes that, Google's always making to the algorithm and stuff like that. And so you can be in their corner and kind of take that off of their plate. They can focus on what they do best, and you guys can really kind of come alongside them and bolster the efforts that they have in building that strong business. So I really think it's just something that a lot of folks should consider, because, when you're looking to, a lot of these guys, they're not looking at cost per lead. They're not thinking about, how many articles should I have on my website? And maybe they don't even know that they should be thinking about that. And so having somebody that knows a little bit more than you is always a good thing.
Now, Shay, a final question and a half I have here for you. Why should everybody check out petraliroofing.com? I'll give you an opportunity to pitch your company. We have a lot of listeners. Sometimes we have 1 million listeners a month that will tune into the show from all over the country. If somebody's in Colorado or Louisiana or Oklahoma, why should everybody check out petraliroofing.com?
Well, ultimately, we are a family-first business. I mean, we've got a lot of family that work here. We're veteran and family-owned. David Petrali started the business. Our owner, Michael O'Malley, came along and has kind of taken on some ownership and stuff like that. And he's a veteran. He's got his kids working for us. My kids have worked for us. I mean, ultimately, we are family and community-focused, and we're just interested in making the community a better place. There's a lot of roofers in town, and not a lot of them really care. And so we want to make sure that if somebody's going to have their roof done, they're going to have to go through the insurance process, that they're working with somebody that's in their corner and it's got their back. And, we work really hard to be that kind of, I guess, that bright spot, that city on a hill for people when they don't know where to turn to. And even just outside of roofing, we've helped a lot of people with other things outside of roofing. And it's just that generosity and that community focus, I think, that makes us different than a lot of the other companies around.
Amen to that. Final question I have here for you. We have a lot of listeners that go to thrivetimeshow.com and they see these testimonials and they go, okay, I've watched this testimonial and I see you've helped this client with their sales and their marketing and their branding and their accounting and their workflow and their systems. And I know you've done it for this company, Keystone Harbor and Complete Carpet, and for Shaw Homes. And they look at thousands of testimonials, but there's something in the back of their mind that says, I don't know if you guys could help me. Now, we offer a free 13-point assessment for anybody out there. We do let people name their price. We have scholarship pricing available for our business conferences. We bring people like Eric Trump and Tim Tebow and Robert Kiyosaki. But what do you say to somebody out there that's on the fence right now? They're thinking about scheduling a free 13-point assessment with myself, or they're thinking about attending one of our workshops. What do you say to somebody out there who's on the fence, my friend?
A phone call really never hurt anybody. Like you're saying, it never hurt to talk to somebody and have them take a look and offer suggestions. I think people, ultimately, they're going to be surprised by what they hear, how easy and practical it is to implement a lot of this stuff. Some of them might be a little concerned how much time and effort they're going to have to put into it. But ultimately, you get out of it what you put into it. And so, but for those who are just tired of being so busy, but not actually getting anything done because they're focusing on the wrong things, I really think they should give you guys a shot.
Shay, I really do appreciate you putting up with me today, carving out time for your busy schedule. And I mean this sincerely. Carter is always bragging on you guys and your team, and it's an honor to serve you guys at Petrali Roofing. So again, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the new office, and we look forward to seeing you soon and talking to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Clay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown 5 times. I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement.
Okay, Aaron Antis, September 25th and 26th. Guess who's coming back to Tulsa? I will give you a hint. His first name is Eric, and his last name is Trump. Whoa. And his father is the 47th president of these United States. Yes, Eric Trump is joining us once again here September 25th and 26th in Tulsa. Oklahoma for the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. But Eric Trump is bringing friends. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Alina Haba will be joining Eric Trump right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Amanda Grace will be in the place. Dr. Stella Emanuel will be here in T-Town in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Julie Green will be on the scene. Mel K will be here to say hey. Dave Scarlett from the His Glory team will be here. It's going to be a blasty blast right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you want to start or grow a super successful company, if you want to make your wallet great again or make your wallet great for the first time, if you want to learn marketing, systems, scaling, human resources, accounting, social media, branding, search engine optimization, sales training, financial management, and more, get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Well, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States, he needed a competent man to run and execute his business plans. Showtime! So the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him, character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is.
The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be the tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had 419 people that were here. 419 people.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what? We should probably add on.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. In anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard. And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. This is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis. There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. There's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
I should write that down and I can do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and
I should do that. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business.
It's tough.
But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money, just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I've been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
For the last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing 3 million. This year we'll do 24 million.
Whoa. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma, and nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns what do you call that? The rental,
storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time, developing an online system, and a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that, his stuff is not revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff.
It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you this will be 10 times better than that.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. It is life-changing. It is life-changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life-changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right, really. So if you're looking to have life-changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What kind of growth have you had since you and I have been working together over these past few years?
3.45 million. I got those stats before I got on here.
So you've grown by 3.45 million.
Yeah, 3,450,000.
Would that be like if you took the combined revenue and maybe doubled it? Have we gone up by
about almost 3, not quite.